is a Dorchester County resident with lots of law enforcement experience. Now he wants to bring his experience to the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office, and that's why he's running for Dorchester County Sheriff. I speak exclusively with Trumaine for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Trumaine Moorer, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Obviously, as you see right there behind you, you have a poster there because obviously you're a candidate for Dorchester County Sheriff. And I must say that obviously you are a resident of Dorchester County, and I know that you attend World Overcomers Church in St. George.
Yes, sir.
Who else is Trumaine Moorer these days?
Say again, I couldn't hear you.
Who else is Trumaine Moorer these days?
Well, Trumaine Moorer is a family man, God-fearing man, a person that serves. So I have a son in college. I have a daughter in high school. She's a senior. And my oldest son, he's disabled. So I have my hands full.
Cool. And you talk about obviously your love for serving. How do you hope to serve people in Dorchester County as its next sheriff?
Well, I want to bring about change of culture. I want to bring diversity. I'm big on diversity, and I want to make the service better than what we have now today. I've went all over the county, and people have complaints about the service. They dial 911 and it takes about 45 minutes for a deputy to come. I'm looking to add more deputies to the street. And I'm also looking to build the relationship between law enforcement with Dorchester County and the community.
And I'm going to talk about a lot of that in just a few seconds. But you also said this too in your website. You said this quote, "I'm humble and equally honored to be given this opportunity to announce my candidacy to the citizens in Dorchester County for the office of sheriff. I will partner with the community to address the community needs." What exactly are the community needs right now?
Well, as you can see all over the world, it's a bad relationship with the law enforcement and the communities all over the world. I'm looking to bring a more personal relationship with the community. I want to do like town halls, like each month, meeting with the community leaders and addressing issues. And another thing I'm looking to do and have more diversity within the department.
And let me ask you this, within the Dorchester County Sheriff's Department, what strides have been eroding over the past 12 years since this particular incumbent and current sheriff has been in office?
What strides, you said?
Yes, sir.
I couldn't hear you.
Yes, strides.
I guess the biggest complaint is service. When it comes down to service with the people are fed up with just getting incident reports done and don't hear anything else back from the sheriff's office. I'm looking to change that because I work my way through patrol,
right,
investigations, and command staff. So I know what it takes to build that rapport and in investigating crimes. You have to do the customer service part, reach out, build that trust with your community. Because without your community, you don't solve crime.
Now, you talk about those incident reports. How many incident reports have you heard about in Dorchester County over the past year?
I don't have a total amount, but while on the campaign trail, all I've been hearing is I've gotten an incident report, haven't heard anything back from the county. And that's I'm telling you, that's all I've been hearing. I haven't heard anything back from investigators. And I'm looking to change that.
How do you hope to change that communication line between obviously the victims and obviously the police, the sheriff's office, that is?
You surround yourself with people that care. First of all, you instead of just doing reports, and I have experience doing this. Even if you run into a brick wall with an investigation, you still contact the victim. You contact the victim and you ask the victim, okay, do you have any more information that you can help me with to solve this crime? I mean, just little stuff, a little personal stuff like that we don't get now.
And you talk about what's going on right now in Dorchester County. What exactly is the quality of life in the county?
People are frustrated. They want change. And I feel it because I'm a resident of
Right.
Dorchester County. Me too. I have called because people know I'm in law enforcement. They call me to relay messages to the Dorchester County Sheriff Office, and nothing. I've reached out, and so me too. I feel the frustration. That's one reason I'm running. One of the reasons I'm running, because of the service.
And obviously, you are a law enforcement official, and I know you have many, many values that you live up to as a law enforcement official. What are the values as you see it right now for law enforcement?
Well, they are. We fight for what we value. So the value should be justice. And right now, I feel that the sheriff's office being more political. So instead of doing your job and allowing the officers to do their job, it's more politics than law enforcement. So but
And where exactly is the politics in this sheriff's office?
well, it starts from the top. You want a sheriff's office that's going to be aggressive and do their job, but they're not doing it. So it starts from the top. You have to get out and you have to lead by example.
And let me ask you this too, Trumaine. How many deputies are currently patrolling the streets in Dorchester County?
Well, I don't have the specific amount, but we're under what we need. We're actually the turnover rate is really bad, and that's just put it like this. I got in law enforcement in 1994, and we have the same amount of deputies that's on the street that we had back then. So there's a problem. The sheriff's office hasn't grown any. In 2008, we had about 128,000 people living in Dorchester County.
Right.
Today, we have over 160,000. The sheriff's office hasn't grown. So I'm looking to change that.
Now, you talked earlier about that rate in the last answer. What exactly is that rate right now, Trumaine?
What you mean, the population?
Well, no. When we talked about obviously the political, the politics that's going on inside the sheriff's office, and you said examples. Well, you should lead by example, and it starts from the top. And you talked about obviously the deputies on the street and what they need. Let me ask you a different way. What exactly do the deputies need right now?
Better leadership. They need more deputies on the street to help, because it's really a low number. So they need to have confidence in their leader, and that's what I'm looking to bring, to build that rapport with the deputies and build the morale with the deputies.
And what is that morale inside the sheriff's office?
I can't speak for the sheriff's office.
Okay.
I had friends that was working within.
Right.
But you practice how you play, pretty much. And with all the complaints, the morale cannot be good.
And let me ask you this too: how would you subdivide the county into small regions or districts with substations in those particular areas?
Right now the zone is considered, it's the upper end and the lower end. We have right now a sufficient amount on the lower end. I would add at least 2 more deputies per shift. You will be able to divide the upper end into different regions, and you would always have a deputy in those regions. So visibility would be good as well. So 2 more deputies per shift would be good.
And what's that visibility looking like right now, rather, in those particular areas as you know it?
I can only go on complaints.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. That's all I've been getting. You don't see deputies. So I feel by adding 2 more deputies to the streets on per shift will allow more visibility.
And I know that on your website, you also said this too. I commit to build the bridge between the community and the sheriff's office throughout all of Dorchester County. You talked about a relationship earlier. Where in Dorchester County do you start that particular relationship?
With the community leaders. But first you have to build that foundation within the department. And that comes with building morale and adding diversity. And then you build relationship with your community and your leaders. But
And
you
what
have to start within.
and what exactly is your relationship with these community leaders?
At this point, I've only met a few, but I'm looking to in the future build that type relationship.
And you obviously you talk about how Dorchester County is actually growing. I wish I could have asked you that earlier, but you said this on your website. You said this quote, "I'm asking you to partner with me so that together we can create the culture for our law enforcement in our growing county." What exactly is the culture inside the law enforcement right now?
Like I said, it's actually not good. I mean, it's no type of relationship because I don't know the percentage of crimes that are not being solved, but you don't have a relationship with the county at this point. And that's coming from the campaign trail. You just I talked with many people and they're not satisfied.
But overall, when you think of around the country, what is the culture inside law enforcement?
Right now, the culture. I mean, I can't speak for all the law enforcement. I can only speak for what I see.
Okay.
It's a detachment, or is people are not confident in it, and they don't trust law enforcement. So I'm trying to build and mend that in Dorchester County
How should people trust you?
because I am a God-fearing man and I believe in doing what's right. And I will fight for the citizens of Dorchester County.
And let me ask you this too, Trumaine. How would assign deputies and supervisors to Pacific regions and districts in Dorchester County in order to build positive relationships with citizens in those areas?
Repeat again.
Yes, sir. How would you assign deputies and supervisors to specific regions and districts in order to build positive relationships with citizens in those areas?
Well, and like I tell everybody, I'm not going to discuss personnel, but because I don't have the position yet. But once I assess what I have, like I said, I want to build a relationship with the deputies because of the morale, and then go from there. Because I don't know who's on the street and who ain't at this point.
Now, let me ask you this too. What plan do you have to couple community policing with real-time data collection and analysis in order to put deputies in the best position to deter, prevent, detect, and investigate criminal activity?
What I have is going from the campaign trail. And you saying that far as the data, that's another issue.
Okay.
Deputies or investigation right now, they close a lot of cases that shouldn't be closed. So therefore, the data is not accurate.
Okay.
So that's something that I must look into once I become sheriff.
Have you been able to get a copy of any of the data so far?
Well, that's online, SLED report.
Okay. And let me ask you this too, Tremaine. In what way do you hope to reorganize the sheriff's department in order to implement community-oriented policing and staff the patrol division correctly with traffic, investigations, civil process, and court security?
You said what way?
Yes, sir. In what way? Yes, sir.
You said what way will I do what now?
Yes, sir. Let me repeat the question. I'm sorry about the delay here in Zoom. I'm going to go with this quote. In what way do you hope to reorganize the sheriff's office in order to implement community-oriented policing and staff the patrol division correctly with traffic, investigations, civil process, and court security?
I want to, like I said, build a group of people that will actually do the job.
Okay.
You say um, I hate speaking on stuff that that actually, because I don't want to
Sure.
be negative, but I only want to speak about the stuff that I control right now.
Okay.
I can't control the sheriff's office now, but I do know that the patrol is an issue. I haven't heard any negative thing about the courts. Haven't heard any negative thing about. Uh, I heard about the traffic. Uh, People have complaints about traffic in certain areas, and I don't know how they're doing it now. So that I would have to assess once the job is it's all upon me.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What type of community action team would you form to address issues that require additional resources for brief periods of time in Dorchester County?
What and that's like I said, just building a rapport
Okay.
with the community.
Okay.
Then I would once I build that rapport and figure out what all is needed, then we go from there.
Let me ask you this. What issues would require additional resources?
Say again.
What issues would require additional resources?
Um, for as additional resources, um, for as community policing, there are grants out there,
Okay.
and I don't know. It's different things that you can do in order to get additional resources. You got drug and addiction. I don't know if they still participate on the interstates or do any drug addiction. I don't know what type of grants that they apply for or receive for as additional resources.
Okay. And let me ask you this, since you're talking about obviously resources and money, I know that you want to implement programs to assist Dorchester County citizens who have been convicted of crimes. And
Mhm.
yes, sir. And let me ask you this, how much money would you ask Dorchester County to implement these programs?
Like I said, I can't, I don't have an idea on I want to do classes for expungement
Okay.
and help people because when, like for instance, Volvo came along,
Right.
they turned away a lot of people because they had a lot of people that applied that had stuff on their criminal record. So I said, well, the sheriff's office can do expungements each month or every other month, which that shouldn't be that costly doing expungements
Okay.
for citizens.
Okay.
And that's giving back to the citizens.
And I'm pretty sure you hear about this, but some people in Dorchester County say the response times are too high when it comes to the Dorchester County Sheriff's Department. How much,
Mhm.
how much time would you lower the response time by if you become sheriff?
By adding, like I said, by adding deputies to the street. And if you're dividing the the upper end and the lower end with more deputies, you're going to cut that response time in half.
Okay. And where exactly in Dorchester County are there any reductions in violent crime over the past 12 years in your mind?
You said reduction. I
Yes,
I,
sir.
I don't know of any reduction. That's a that's a question that I can't answer. Or as reduction, and
Okay.
that like and your reduction numbers is not going to be accurate.
Okay. Okay. Where is the increase in crime in Dorchester County right now?
I would say it's pretty much all over.
Okay.
Um, uh, these questions that you're asking, I understand, but right now I don't have that data in front of me. Like I said, it's SLED. You can pull that data from SLED, and far as the area, but it's not going to be accurate.
Okay, let me ask you this too. You may know or may not know, but what's the average arrest ratio for violent crimes in Dorchester County, particularly with growth?
I don't know the answer to that for as the arrest ratio.
Okay.
And the arrest ratio, the conviction ratio is going to be different. And that, like I said, that's what I'm had complaints about.
Okay.
Because the arrest ratio, and you go out into the community, and you have people that says, I haven't heard anything back from the sheriff's office, and the cases are closed. So your ratio is not going to be accurate.
How would you deal with the drug war, specifically where it intersects?
Well, you have to get with a multi. I don't know about the relationship with the sheriff's office and other agencies, but far as you have to get with other agencies, you have to build a rapport with other agencies, municipalities, to fight the drugs.
And let me ask you this: how much manpower would you have to stop, obviously drug dealers, imposters, and importers, that is, and manufacturers in the war against drugs?
How much manpower?
Yes, sir.
However much it takes. I mean, you got different units in the sheriff's office.
Right.
So I would have to evaluate how much it would take to address these different problems.
And when you look at the budget for the Dorchester County Sheriff's Department, what would you look at on day one?
The turnover rate, actually, that is the main thing, and how you can obtain your deputies, because you're losing deputies often.
And how often are they losing these deputies in your mind?
I can only go on what people I meet in the street that were deputies, and tell me what's going on. These are, like I said, I know it's a need for a change. I don't know of the questions that you're asking. I don't know how I can get that data for you right now.
No worries.
I can get back with you with the data.
Okay.
For as the budget, I looked over the budget.
Okay.
I for as the conviction rate or the arrest rate, because the arrest rate and the conviction rate is going to be different. But I'll get back with you.
Now, have you been able to look at the turnover rate for deputies?
No, like I said, I can only speak on what people are telling me. I'm not in the sheriff's office at this time. That's something you may have to ask Sheriff Knight.
Sure, and I hope to get him on Quintin's close-ups as well. But Trumaine Moorer, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's close-ups.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.